Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the interviews from the Primal Trust Academy and Community series. I am Dr. Kathleen King. This is my dearest friend, Falguni, and I love her so much. And I'm so excited that we get to be in person to do this interview.
That's a treat. That's a total treat.
So many of you obviously recognize this beautiful woman. She has been at my right-hand side since the beginning of really taking on this Primal Trust mission of bringing nervous system regulation and self-discovery into the world. So I want to first share how we met, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So Falguni and I have, I guess, maybe a karmic relationship.
That's how we related to.
Yeah, absolutely. Where I actually took your spot in presenting at the Rewiring Your Wellness retreat in 2020. It was a last minute cancel. I filled in last minute. I didn't know her. She didn't know me. And that's the first time I really was, I mean, I'd heard your name in the DNRS world, but I didn't know much about you. And so we met after that. We had a little meeting and immediately clicked. She made me some beautiful jewelry, including recently this little bracelet. She's an incredible creatrix. Anyway, I'm really getting off topic here, but the deal is that Falguni and I were meant to meet, and it was divinely orchestrated. And when I received the vision of bringing the Primal Trust mentorship to the brain retraining world, I knew that I was going to need somebody to help me with the community, especially the forum. And Falguni's name dropped into my mind. I had never really coached her, worked with her. She knew none of my content, but it was just a knowing that this is the woman to be by my side. And it was interesting that I didn't choose any of the people that I had been coaching or mentoring. It was this woman who I didn't know that the universe said, she's your girl. So I basically called you up and said, what'd I say?
You basically said, hey, I have this opportunity in this beautiful community that I'm building. And as she was telling me about it, about Primal Trust and what she's intending with it, I could just feel like the internal voice in me saying, this is it. This is it. If you're going to say yes, this is it. And literally I said yes.
Yeah.
The moment you popped the question out after she explained what she was doing.
Sounds like I proposed to you.
Right? But it kind of did sound
it kind of was like a proposal. Anyway, you decided to take a chance on me, on a program you didn't know anything about, on a person you didn't know anything about. And we really launched Primal Trust. I taught the material. She helped to support the people coming in, and also took Primal Trust along the way. But you seem to know how to help people, how to answer their questions, how to guide them. She has this beautiful intuition that I recognized right away. And that was really the kind of person I wanted beside me, not someone that is just going to regurgitate the science, but to really intuit how to help people through the process of transformation. So that's Falguni. And I wanted to interview Falguni because she has so much wisdom to share. She's had her own journey of, brain retraining and nervous system regulation and dealing with a lot of stuff. She has a lot to share. So thank you for coming on to the interview and
welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Letting the world know who you are. Yeah. So I would love for you to just share a little bit of your journey of how you got to Primal Trust and maybe how you did brain retraining through the dynamic neural retraining system. You had a lot of great success, really positive experience. And then you went on for more. And maybe tell the audience a little bit about that experience of basic brain retraining versus maybe my level 1 material and then Primal Trust, so people can understand your journey.
Absolutely. Because when I met Kat, I was actually about 2 years out post DNRS start. And so I was living my life, doing my thing, being in my element. And I was kind of looking for a little bit more, something more to support me. I knew, honestly, within my own sense that there was something deeper that needed to be uncovered for myself, but I didn't really know what it was. And so when Primal Trust landed on my lap, it was great. This is a whole new arena opened up. And when I saw what she had with creating calm, okay, so DNRS is by far the most foundational program. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I used it for a very long time to get myself back to me. And I'm one of those lucky ones that did have a little sense of my own adult sense, my own self, as I was rewiring. And so I did the rewiring practice slightly differently than pretty much everybody else did in the community. I broke some rules. I felt the feelings. I dealt with some of those emotional things that a lot of people didn't deal with during their journey. And I think that's what opened up my heart up to do more, because I knew there was more in there. And I knew that there was processes out there that would help me with that. So with that said, and having seen what was in Kat's portfolio, when I got access to her platform, I was like, wow, I'm like, oh my God, this is like a gift from heaven. Seriously.
That's kind.
Well, I think, so for those of you watching, the difference between dynamic neural retraining system and creating calm. With creating calm, there are 4 modules, which is your level 1 program. So the level 1 program has 4 different aspects in the current solution. And so for me, the basic brain retraining, I already had a great understanding of how to do, because I did it for so long. And one of the things that was missing for me is really how to handle some of the things that happen when you go out to live life, when you go out to do things. You have an autonomic nervous system that responds to things. And when you have the challenges that you have with limbic impairment, you're going to have ebbs and flows throughout life. And so I didn't know that that was part of the whole process of retraining, is that you're going to go through sympathetic and parasympathetic phases, and that's just going to happen. And when I took class 2 of level 1, I realized, that's the silver bullet. I was like, oh my God, this is going to happen anyway. So then I embraced it. I embraced having to traverse through, the polyvagal theory and the different aspects of it, going from dorsal to sympathetic to ventral, and all those different aspects of the neuroscience behind polyvagal. And so for me, that was like, aha. So that was really helpful, because then I knew that what I was feeling and the sensations that I was experiencing were supposed to be there. And that I just needed to traverse through them to get through. And so Kat says this wonderful thing: you got to go through to get through, go through to get through. Yeah. So you got to go through it to get through it. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that people face when they start brain retraining, is they don't understand the uptick in sensations or the uptick in sympathetic aspects of your body responses. And that's natural. That's supposed to happen. But sometimes when we don't know that that's expected, we then start to doubt what we're doing and think that we're sliding backwards when we're really not. We're actually plunging forward.
Yeah, I see a lot of people quit brain retraining actually right when their nervous system starts to respond, because they feel worse. So like, this isn't working. I'm getting insomnia, anxiety, etc. I'm like, no, actually your energy is starting to mobilize. You're moving from dorsal vagal to sympathetic. This program is working, or these exercises are working. And a lot of the exercises in my level 1 program will do just that. They're going to push you through that stage. And so I try to help people to say, no, hold on tight, keep going with this, and just ride that wave as you come back into regulation.
So once you learn how to ride that wave, which is beautiful, then it's like, okay, well, then how do I learn to be in my body? How do I learn to be okay with all these sensations that are happening? And what are the things and what are the practices that can bring you home into your own self? And that's where all the somatic presencing and somatic practices come in. And so that's added in the level 1 program as well. And I did my own energy medicine work anyway. So I was always figuring out ways to balance my chakras. And so with in that kind of incorporated itself well within what I was doing. So alongside of DNRS. And so people always tended to contact me because they're like, hey, we know you're doing some work in the energy medicine arena. Can you help us with that? Because we're interested in that as well. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So what she's describing is in level 1, we have the brain retraining, polyvagal theory, somatics, and energy medicine. And so for people who are listening.
Yeah. So when I took Creating Calm, the level 1 program, I was like, wow, this has all the aspects of the things that I needed while I was doing DNRS, but I didn't quite have, but I was trying to do, but I didn't know how. And so after taking level 1 of Dr. Kat's program, it all clicked into place. And I was like, okay, I got this. Give me level 2.
She's a very quick learner.
I think I did level 1 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you did. Because then you had to help me with level 2. Yes. Because we launched the Primal Trust Mentorship. And I was like, okay, Falguni, time to help. So talk about that experience for you of doing my level 2 work, the more advanced work, which I call the Primal Trust Mentorship, which is currently about a 6-month program.
Oh, wow. Like I didn't know what to expect. You know, here I was going to help with the community and going to help answer questions because that's my strength. You know, implementing things, taking principles and putting them into play is where I shine. And so I was just like, okay, bring it on, let's do it. And class 1, I literally was talking about, for the level 2 mentorship, talking about how imperturbable we can be as humans, and talking about our golden ship and who we are and how to discover that you know, true self of who you are. And literally it like hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, I kind of know who I am, but I kind of don't. And so it helped me dig so much deeper into me. And that day after it comes with a teaching and an attunement. And after that attunement, I was just like, my mind was exploding because I knew that this was the right place to be. This is what I needed to unlock that I couldn't access before. And it allowed me to go deeper into myself and really understand what aspects of me I wanted to bring forward. Yeah.
Yeah. I really find that we need to get our nervous system kind of to a baseline of like, okay, I can regulate, I can come back to calm if I need to, but I might not be perfect yet. And that's really where this level 2 begins, because really it's a process of self-discovery. We think we're there to heal an illness, but really we're on a journey of self-discovery. And we need some tools along the way in order to do that. And so you're describing the beginning of like, wow, I've got a journey to go on. And so maybe talk a little bit about what things you brought in that we talk about in Primal Trust to help you discover yourself. Maybe the gene key, human design, other processes that I encourage people to go into as they're in this journey of Primal Trust.
And yeah, great. That's a great question. So alongside of all the things that I was being exposed to in Primal Trust, I also started to dig deeper into who I am in relationship to human design. And Dr. Kat introduced me to that concept. And when I first put my information in and got back my report, of course, I didn't understand a word it was saying because it was in a human design language that I needed to learn.
And if you're wondering, just Google free human design chart, and then we'll talk about the other chart in just a minute.
Yeah. And so it was interesting when we first reviewed it and we first learned about who I am and what I stand for and how I behave naturally, intuitively. You know, I need to have time to think about things. And this human design chart said, you are a generator. You are a generator and you need time to respond. And I've always pushed myself to respond in the moment. And that was completely going against who I naturally am as a person. And that's why some of the aspects of my situation came up, because I was going against myself completely. And I wasn't giving myself the space in the room to really allow myself to get that or from my intuition rather than it coming up from my mind. So this is the whole dynamic shift of, okay, am I going to think about this or am I going to let my body tell me what I'm going to do? So the human design really opened my mind and my heart to the aspects of me that I knew were there, but I didn't actually listen to.
And I love these charts that we use human design and we use gene keys because they give you clues to help you discover your true self. You see all these programs are like, oh, we're going to do true self work and true self discovery. And you're like, well, what does that mean? And how do you do that? I really like maps and I like processes to actually give people, solid understanding of what their true self is. And these are two processes that I love to incorporate with Primal Trust to help people gain clues into their true self and into rewiring into their true self.
Yeah, and gene keys is actually incorporated into human design. So if you're just going to use human design, then it's all incorporated in there. But this information seeker, needed to understand more. So I did do my gene key assessment and my mind was completely blown. I think when it goes back to true self-discovery, you really don't know who you are until you know who you are.
Yeah. It was profound.
It was profound. It was actually. throughout my life, I've always been in entertainment outside of school and outside of my academics and things of that nature. And when I had my reading done and the person who gave me the reading said, you're meant to divinely entertain. You're meant to be exquisite. You're meant to be intoxicating in the sense that you have so much spunk and energy and laughter and joy that you have to bring to this world. And you're holding it all back. You're pinching yourself off from it. Why are you pinching yourself off? And I said, you're so right. Like, I'm totally pinching myself off, right? And it's because I was pleasing an aspect of my life that that I was taught. That was through my ancestry. That you just don't go big. You don't be seen. You don't allow yourself to be in that divine space. So Primal Trust, you know, as you go through the different classes and the different aspects of the learnings, it digs you deeper into different tooling that helps you dig some of this work out and helps you figure out, okay, where do I really want to be and who do I really want to be? And how do I want to go after that?
Yeah. And it's really profound work. In fact, in the notes to this interview, I'll put a link to both your human design, to get a human design chart, and Gene Key. And there's a man who I love to do Gene Key readings. His name is Peter Tung, and his email is
mystical, magical,
descendingdove@gmail.com. And I will put that in the notes as well. It's, you know, it's really, I have formed, you guys wonder how I formed all this so quickly. It's formed after my human design and Gene Key chart. I am literally creating my purpose, and my purpose is actually to mentor valor, which I call primal trust. That is in my Gene Key chart. I'm a mentor of valor and a builder of community. And so that's what I do. So anyway, we're getting off.
We're getting a little off,
but it's good information for people to know, because they're going to wonder, like, what is this? Anyway, so some of the things you're learning is about breaking patterns. Let's talk about breaking patterns and what Primal Trust and Gene Key and human design is helping to illuminate for you, that took you far beyond brain retraining, which was just for symptoms. Now you realize what this whole path was for. What has your path really been about?
It's about discovering incoherent patterns and really understanding how my ancestry created a disconnect within me, within who I want to be as a person. I knew from a very young age, as I started to come into my life, that some of the things that I was being taught didn't feel true to me, but I wasn't allowed to express what I needed to express, or not allowed, but wasn't in line with what was being taught in terms of my ancestry. And so that was a hard pill to swallow, because then part of me had to kind of shut down and kind of say, okay, now I got to put that aside and be this way. And it didn't feel natural.
You came from a very rich lineage from India, of a culture and a way of being that I'm sure there are very few people who broke out of that cultural paradigm, and you're being asked to do it. And your nervous system went through a lot of fear, because we're programmed to stay part of our tribe and to do just what they say. And if we try to do anything different, we often have a major brainstem protection response.
Absolutely. Every choice that I made, everything that I can remember throughout my life has always been fear-based. It's been very, oh my God, what are they going to think? How am I going to look? How, am I doing enough? Do I have enough stature? Am I climbing the corporate ladder fast enough? Do people see me? Right. And see me in the right light. There's all these different things that, I was up against that really didn't feel true, but I did. And, but at some point my body told me it's not right.
So what is some of the ways you are breaking patterns? What is your way that's different than how you were brought up?
My way, a lot of tools.
A lot of tools.
Well, tools in the sense that, so one of the things that really felt very good to me was Dr. Kat teaches a divine neutrality process in class 7 that takes you through this kind of, I want this, but I resist it. And I don't quite know how to handle it. And who else is involved in all of this? Like all these different aspects of you. And so when some of the things that I've gone through is like, some conflicts between me and my husband, working through them and how to handle them and how to respond in a way that honors both of our values, right?
Mhm.
And so that was a big one for me. I used divine neutrality a lot through that process.
Mhm.
And I'll have to tell you, I couldn't have done it without it. There's no way, because you have to get inside, especially if people have this label called monkey mind. If you have a mind that kind of jumps from one thing to another and doesn't quite let you get a grasp on what it is that you're actually, why you're feeling this way, it's very difficult. And so you have to trust yourself to go deep, go in.
Mhm.
Deepak Chopra saying, go within, right?
Mhm.
You got to find out what's in there in order to bring it forward and process it and get it out and figure out a way forward.
So the tools have helped you to come in to find
Yes.
out what's in there so you can come forward.
Yeah.
And how are you coming forward that's different than how you were brought up? What is emerging from you, Falguni?
I'm way more silly, spunky.
Mhm.
I laugh a lot more, and I tell jokes. I
Mhm.
quote movies, which I never did before. I watched Seinfeld. I didn't even like Seinfeld, but that was a protection mechanism coming in and saying, you're not allowed to laugh.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have fun.
Mhm.
You're not allowed to be joyful.
Mhm.
So I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually laughing at comedy shows.
And touch on who is it? Brene Brown that says the gift of imperfection. How are you embracing that pattern and that programming of perfection to imperfection?
Yeah, when it was first recommended for me to do dynamic neural retraining system, I had to have a really deep, rich talk with myself, because I knew one of the biggest mechanisms that was going to stand in my way was perfection. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it the right way? How long do we have to do it? Trying to get validation for my implementation of the program. And it really took me a bit to get it implemented because of that part of me. And once I got over it, once I was able to say, okay, we're done with it. We're done with perfection. We're going to accept imperfection, and we are just going to do this in the way that it feels good. And so then it opened up so much more. And then, even through all that year that I spent doing the rewiring and then coming into Primal Trust, and then knowing that I can show up, like I teach on Dr. Kat's platform on, bi-monthly basis. And I see myself on video every week, and I watch my own videos because I love myself. I love seeing myself. And that's a testament to me accepting myself the way I am. And there's no imperfection in any of it.
That's a lot for you to come from the lineage you have and to start breaking through a lot of these barriers. And I know that you're going to continue to emerge. So speaking of that, why don't you tell people a little bit about what our level 3 process is and how that shows up in your life and how you're contributing to the level 3 part of Primal Trust.
Yeah. So level 3 is where my space is. I have a teaching called Alchemy Corner. And the reason why I chose level 3 is because, again, I'm really good at implementing. So once you get through the concepts and the principles and things that we're going to be learning in Primal Trust, okay, how do we then embed them into what we're doing every day? How do we get out of them what we need to live our life and to expand it? It's all about expansion. So for me, level 3 is just like where I really wanted to be. That's my space. That's kind of like the playground, because I want to see people expanding. I want to see people utilizing these mechanisms in their life to grow, to get where they want to go, to get to the next step. And if I could, be a little part of that journey, then my job is done here, honestly. So level 3 has so much enrichment. We talk about deeper concepts. We allow each other to explore these concepts. People have ideas, they bring them forward, and we see if we can bring them to the community as classes or groups or some type of discussion. And just this morning when I had my class, we talked about a bunch of different topics that everyone in the community tends to struggle with, but nobody, sometimes they don't bring it up.
What are some of the topics that people struggle with?
One of the things that we talked about today was forgiveness.
Yeah.
Forgiveness. And, a lot of people don't realize that forgiveness sometimes comes from something that you have to do with yourself before you can give that to others. And so we talked a little bit about that today. Yeah.
I love that we have, this whole journey where you're learning your nervous system tools, you're finding out who you are, coming into Primal Trust. And then in that level 3, it's the rich stuff. It's forgiveness, it's compassion, it's relationships, it's parenting, it's consciousness expansion, ancestral programming, healing our sexual wounds, things like that. It's like deep stuff that we needed to gain some tools and community along the way. So talk about the community aspect of level 3.
Well, that's obviously the most favorite part of of the space, because that's where I live in pretty much every day. And so the community consists of the concepts of the forum where we talk and exchange information. And my goodness, I mean, I think that this forum has become so rich with information, not only just because we participate, because the whole community, they participate and they provide we want to encourage people to do peer assessments and peer feedback, so that they have this ability to bring their own experience into the community and bring that richness and that wisdom and that greatness. And we just hold the container. We hold the container for, myself and a couple of others, we hold the container.
Yeah.
And that's how it becomes a beautiful, rich space for people to go and look for help, information and help. What
I love is that in Primal Trust, we're encouraging everyone to find their wisdom and to let it shine.
Yeah.
We let people teach classes and do all sorts of things, because each and every one of us, like, I didn't want this to be the Dr. Cat show or just the Dr. Cat and Falguni show. It is all of us. And it's just so beautiful. And you do such a great job of helping people to emerge into that level 3 and help to be a midwife and birthing them into the world. And that's one of your great gifts. I really love that.
Thank you.
Okay, so speaking of level 3, a lot of times we get to level 3 and we're like, but I still have symptoms. And we're asking you to start living with symptoms. And so let's talk about how, from a level 1 mindset of like, I can't live until these symptoms go away, to where you're at now in level 3, and what your own experience is and what you encourage other people to reach for, as far as living and having imperfection maybe in their body.
Yeah, I mean, imperfection is a part of life, right? And as we expand and as we live more and more, sometimes body sensations will come up. And I had a recent experience where a big body sensation came back, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I got a quick reminder that, hey, it's a memory thing. Your body remembers when it's exposed to this level of stimuli. And I realized, oh yeah, okay, I can handle it. And once I was able to get my head wrapped around that, it was such a great thing, because I was like, hey, even though I'm having whatever sensation is going on in my body, I can still show up for the community and answer questions. I can still show up and teach class. I can still show up and do everything that I needed to do to help whoever it is that asked me to help them, whether, and I can still cook for my family. I can go out and do things with my friends. It was such a different way of being, rather than curling up into a ball and saying, no, I can't, that's not going to work for me because I have this sensation. It was such a different outcome. I didn't stop living. I didn't stop doing what I was doing. I did give myself rest when I needed it. And I give myself comfort. I gave myself grace and compassion. So I learned a little bit more about how to balance it all, rather than it being kind of this all or nothing perfection thing. So I was living with my imperfect life, which is what it's going to be.
That's really what imperturbability is we wonder, I introduced that concept right at the beginning of Primal Trust, that I want each and every one of you to become imperturbable. And at the time, people were like, oh, that means I'm like perfect, super strong, never get upset. No, that's not what imperturbability is.
No.
What is imperturbability to you now?
Well, in a couple words,
sure.
I can handle this. I can handle anything that comes in my path. A friend of mine a few years ago said, hey, use this mantra, I can handle this. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if it rings true, but I'll try. I don't think it really rang true until I did Primal Trust, to be honest. And now I can truly say I can handle this, because I have.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Do you have any other closing remarks or advice to people that are on your path, on the same path you've been on? What would you say?
I would say, let yourself be imperfect. Let yourself do what you need to do. Listen to as much of yourself as you can, but also allow yourself to utilize the tools that are available, because the tools is what builds in the resiliency. The tools is what builds in the repetition, the neuroplasticity. So when you have the neuroplasticity coupled with letting go of some of those aspects of you that hold you back, then you can make so much more steps in the direction you want to go, rather than kind of being stuck in loops. So
And you really nailed it. A lot of people come in and they start using the tools of neuroplasticity, but they're so rigid with themselves, with life, and they can't let go. And that's why we have this level 1, level 2 process, because you do need those tools. But if you're using them with such rigidity and perfectionism and fix-it mindset, there you are just rewiring into circles. And I've loved watching you blossom and grow, and how much you share. This woman is amazing. And for those of you who are just getting involved with Primal Trust, definitely come to some of Falguni's classes, utilize the forum. She is there to, speak whatever needs everything you say, I totally agree with. Like, you're not, missing out by not having me answer your forum question, because Falguni is just, she's got the frequency, she's got the intuition. And I just love you. And I just am so grateful that you have helped me so much. I mean, the expansion of Primal Trust has been like drinking through a fire hose, and it's having, this woman beside me that's like, I'm helping to hold the container. You've got that mama energy, and the community can feel it. And so this woman, she's part of this whole thing, and you get to have her frequency alongside Primal Trust experience. And she makes all this beautiful jewelry. Look at her necklace. She made that bracelet. Yeah, she's just amazing. Anyway, we always tangent.
Well, I'm a true testament that you can have a passion and fulfill your purpose.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. You create, you're helping with the community, and I just love it. So anyway, thank you for being interviewed and sharing your light with everyone. And I hope to have you come back.
Yes.
We'll have more talks again.
All right.
Bye-bye.